Hello, today's lesson is about partial variation. Now the learning goals for this lesson are the following. Identify and interpret properties of partial variation. Write an equation using the initial value and rate of change. Compare the properties of direct and partial variation. So first we're going to start off with an example here. Now by this point you should know what a direct variation is, as that was the previous lesson. So on the first graph here, we have an example of a direct variation. On the second graph, we have an example of a partial variation. So it says the graphs show the cost of student memberships at a community center and a fitness club. As you can see, the key differences between the two graphs right away is that the first one, the direct variation, has the line starting at 0. Okay, so there's a direct rate of change. And the second graph over here has a graph that does not start at 0. It starts at another number. In this case, between 80 and 120, so we estimate that this is at 100. Okay, so the graph starts at 100. Okay, other than that, the rate of change or the slope of both of these lines looks pretty similar. Okay, and we can even go ahead and calculate the slope of each of those lines. Okay, there we go. The rise right here for this line is, well, this would be 20. Okay, so the rise here would be 20, and the run would be 2. Okay, so the slope would be equal to rise over run, which is 20 over 2, which is equal to 10. Now what does that 10 represent? Well, it represents $10. Okay, $10 per month of the membership. So it costs $10 for every month of the membership. Okay, and then we go over to this one. We said this was 100. Okay. We go across, find our rise and our run. Our rise in this case is 120 minus 100, so that's 20 again. And then our run here is also 2. So we have the exact same rise over run, so it's also 10, works out to 20 over 2, which is $10 per month. So basically, what is the two differences between these two graphs? Well, first of all, we have the community center student membership. So if I was a student that wanted to go work out at this community center, it would cost me $10 a month, no more. Okay, but for a long-term membership here over at this place, the fitness club, I would have to pay $100 for the membership and then $10 for every month. Okay, so what does that mean in terms of, let's say, 1 month? So for the first month at this club, I'm paying 1 month, I'm paying $10. Over here, after the first month, I'm paying 100 plus 10, so 110 total. So here I'm paying 110 for the first month. Here I'm only paying 10 for the first month. Big difference, as you can see. Let's take a look at a few more examples of partial variation. So here are some examples of partial variation where we're going to start talking about the properties. Okay, so first of all, we have a picture of a plumber here. So what happens when a plumber comes to your house, okay, they're going to charge you usually an initial fee, let's say equal to $100. Okay, and then a cost per hour, which let's say most of them charge $50 an hour. Okay, what does that mean? Okay, so if the plumber comes to my house to do a job that takes them 2 hours, that means 2 hours is going to equal the $100 initial fee plus, let's put this in brackets, 2 times 50. Oops. Right? Because each hour it's going to cost me $50 for the labor. So 2 hours means 2 times $50, which is 100. So the total in this case is equal to $200. Okay, so it's going to cost me $200. You can see the same example with a pizza. When you order a pizza, usually you pay $10 for the pizza plus 50 cents per topping. Okay? All right. So if I order a pizza with 2 toppings, I would pay $10 for the pizza plus 50 cents for each topping. So that's 50 cents for the first topping, 50 cents for the second topping, and then $10. That makes $11 total. If I wanted 4 toppings, that would be 50 cents for each topping. So 50 cents times 4, that would be $2. $2 plus 10, that equals $12. So a pizza with 4 toppings would cost me $12. Next example is a car rental. So car rental, daily charge is equal to, let's say, $30. And then cost per kilometer, let's say that's 25 cents. Okay, so daily charge of $30 just to rent the car. If I don't drive the car, I still got to pay the $30 for renting it. And then the cost per kilometer is 25 cents. Okay, so if I use the car for 100 kilometers, let's say 100 kilometers, that would cost me, each kilometer is 25 cents, remember, so 0.25 times 100 kilometers, okay, equals $25. Okay, $25 for using 100 kilometers. Plus, I got to add the daily rental charge, which is $30, and that's going to equal a total of $55. Okay? And last example here, we have a cell phone example. So all of you pretty much have cell phones. Now what happens when you get a cell phone plan is you pay usually a monthly fee. Okay, so monthly fee. Let's say your monthly fee is $25. Oops, $25. And then with the monthly fee, you usually get, let's say, 100 daytime minutes. But if you go over those daytime minutes, there's a cost per minute. Okay, and the cost per minute, let's say, is usually around 25 cents. Okay, so if it's 25 cents per minute and you go over your minutes, well, how much over your minutes would you go? Let's say you like to talk a lot. So you used 200 minutes over your allowable amount of minutes. Okay, you went over your budget by 200 minutes. So how much are you going to pay for your cell phone? Well, you're going to pay the $25 fee. Okay, just the monthly fee that you got to pay anyway because you're under contract, plus 200 minutes times 0.2525 cents per minute. Okay, what's that going to equal? Oops, I made a mistake up here. That should be plus. There we go. Okay, and what does that equal to? Okay, well I got 25 plus 200 times 25 cents per minute, 200 minutes. That works out to $50. Okay, so you go over your cell phone time by 200 minutes, you're going to be paying $75 that month. Way more than you want to be paying. So you got to make sure that you don't use more minutes than you have. Okay, I'm going to stop the video here and we're going to continue on to the next one.